Hey everybody, Dan with Pain Free You. Today's topic, happiness. And I'm going to pose a question to you, and I want you to think about it. Whose job is your happiness? Is it up to other people to make us happy, or is it up to ourselves to make ourselves happy? Right? I believe that happiness is an inside job. That's something we have to take responsibility for. We cannot delegate that to those around us. At the same time, if you believe that and you buy into that concept that happiness is an inside job, then how come it is so easy for all of us, myself included, to delegate our unhappiness to others in the outside world? It's so easy to get mad at the outside world, to get triggered by other people, to get triggered by world events, politics, you name it, job stresses, everything else. And we come home and we're angry at the outside world. We're angry because they did something to me. So what you're saying is you believe, conceptually at least, that happiness is an inside job. Nobody else should be charted the task of making you happy. And frankly, if you are waiting for somebody else, a partner, a spouse, your kids, your parents, anybody else to make you happy, you're going to be disappointed. It's going to be a long wait. That's because it's the most critical thing we can do for ourselves, is to learn to at least be content with ourselves. And look, discontentment in ourselves is a great thing to spark change, right? If you're perfectly content with sitting on the couch, playing video games, and not working, you're not going to change really. And I'm kind of referring a little bit to my son here. He's not terribly motivated. That frustrates the piss out of me. But he's content right now. I wouldn't call him happy, but he's certainly not unhappy. So happiness, it's an inside job. So don't delegate it to somebody else. Don't say I'm unhappy because of them. No, happiness is something you need to do for yourself. I often say that ending TMS pain is not something we do. It's more about who we become. And when I say that, it doesn't mean you have to become an entirely different person. But perhaps, as I've mentioned in a video a long time ago, maybe becoming version 2.0 of yourself is actually a good thing. What about the way you're navigating life is not working for you right now? Are you very easily upset by others? Are you very easily upset and self-critical and overly judgmental of yourself? If you were to envision version 2.0 of yourself, would it include the same things that you're doing now, the same behaviors, the same thoughts? And look, people say, oh, I can't change these thoughts. I've been this way my whole life. Well, if you believe that, that will be true. That's like my video from yesterday about, is TMS a beast? The bigger of a problem we paint something to be, the bigger of a problem it's going to be. So if you are resisting turning into version 2.0 of yourself, or version 10.0 if you've made lots of changes in your life, that resistance just shows that you don't believe you can change, right? And you are still delegating your happiness to the outside world. I'll be happy when is a really, really interesting phrase. I'll be happy when my spouse treats me better. I'll be happy when my kids respect me more. I'll be happy when my kids are done with college, or, whatever it may be, when my kids get good grades. I'll be happy when this government isn't so messed up. I'll be happy when this world isn't so messed up. I'll be happy when is a real trap, because despite everything that is going on, You can choose happiness now. And you might be saying, that's BS. What do you mean I can choose happiness? I've got this, that, and that, and all these things wrong, especially these physical symptoms and pain. How dare you tell me I can be happy now? Well, I can. There are plenty of people with pain who are choosing to make today better than yesterday. That's a choice, right? I had that video a couple of days ago. How much fun can you have? Surprisingly, I didn't get that many comments on the video. And I think it's because I'm challenging you. I am pretty much saying, look guys, how you go through life is up to you. And if you want to be miserable and suffer through your pain, you can. If you want to be self-critical and self-doubting and self-judgmental, and delegate your happiness and your entire mood and response to the outside world and take no personal responsibility for it, that's okay. That's your choice. But when I say happiness is a choice and how much fun can you have today, that doesn't mean I'm disrespecting the level of pain and suffering we've all had, but it truly is a choice. Truly is a choice. So what do you guys think about this? I would love for your feedback on this. Are you choosing happiness, or are you delegating it to somebody else? Because when you delegate your happiness to somebody else, inevitably they serve you the wrong dish. Inevitably they serve you unhappiness, because you're waiting for somebody else to fulfill your needs, when in fact that's our job. So it's a deep topic, but it's not a very complex one. So who's responsible for your happiness? Who is currently showing responsibility and taking action for your happiness? This whole thing is getting better from TMS and distraction pain and these other symptoms. It's a self-development journey. It's not just about, well, if I feel this emotion, boom, pain's gone, and I can stay my same self. It's becoming more compassionate for yourself, becoming more aware of how you navigate this world and how you respond, how you choose to respond to the outside world. If you choose to react to everything, every slight annoyance with anger and rage, two things. First of all, that's a choice. Second of all, it may be displaced anger, meaning you may have so much burning anger and rage inside of you that you've been running away from and pushing away from for so long that the slightest little thing can send us off, right? And road rage is a perfect example of that. You have people getting cut off on the road and they lose their minds. They just explode and they do all sorts of crazy, stupid stuff, dangerous stuff. Getting into fights, accidents on purpose, running people off, like crazy, crazy stuff. But inevitably, it wasn't that somebody cut you off or slowed down in front of you. It was the fact that this person who's road raging already had this cauldron of bubbling, molten lava of rage inside of them. And somebody else just got in the way and, took the brunt of that anger and rage. So if you find yourself easily, I'll say, triggered again, and I know a lot of people don't like that word because it's been politicized lately, but if you find yourself easily upset by things around you, is it really those things around you that you're most upset with? Or is it displaced anger and rage, right? And it's really, really important when we do this I'm feeling work, I am feeling these things, to access and allow ourselves, again that word allow ourselves to truly feel what we're feeling deep, deep in our gut, deep in our soul. What are we most angry with? And again, with me, when I realized that the person I was most upset with was this guy right here, this guy, me. That's when I started to turn the corner, because I had a lot of displaced anger at the outside world when in fact I was the one who I was most pissed off at. So I will challenge you to ask that question. Are you really mad at the outside world, or are you mad at yourself and your interaction with and reaction to the outside world? Look, like I said at the beginning, happiness, it's an inside job. Don't delegate it, right? And change is an inside job. If you expect that your pain is going to get better when you get into a different life circumstance, well, when I divorce, or when I get out of this house, or when I get a different job, then I can lose my pain. No, that's not required to end your pain. What's required to end your pain or other symptoms is a brutal, guttural truth about what's really being felt inside. You know, we've got this boiling pot of emotions, and there's no steam valve. We got to let that steam valve out. And that doesn't mean go expressing and vomiting your emotions on everybody else. Letting that steam valve open is sometimes just sitting with it and allowing yourself to get really, really truthful with yourself about what's really going on in your life. And if you are questioning and saying, Dan, this is BS. What do you mean happiness is an inside job? I've got so much wrong with my body, so much wrong with my life. I can barely move. How dare you tell me I've got to choose to be happy despite all this that's going on? And look, I get it. It's challenging, but if you are delegating that responsibility to somebody else, and you're delegating the elimination of your pain or symptoms to when somebody else changes, then I can be better, you're going to be waiting a long, long time. So, happiness is an inside job. What are you doing today to allow yourself and to choose to be happier, right? Now, it's like the other video 2 days ago, or whatever it was. How much fun are you going to have? Or will you let yourself have? We can either suffer through the pain, or we can kind of try to laugh through it. I know which one I would choose. I know which one I did choose. I mean, I had 13 years of pain. Trust me, I was not this angry, bitter, complaining person about my symptoms the whole time. Yeah, I struggled with it, but you know what? I still had fun with family. I still kept relationships. I still enjoyed my son. I still did a lot of things that were fun, and I pushed myself. I would get on, you know, I would do things with my son. My son was a kid who was totally into adventure sports. And despite back pain, I would still go out there and I'd try to ride a skateboard with him. I'd try to ride bikes with him at the skateboard park. And, you know, sometimes those things didn't end so well. But I did it anyway because I chose to do things that would bring me and my son joy. And so what are you choosing to do every day? Are you choosing to play small and stay home and stay safe? Or are you choosing to say, I got to live my life despite the symptoms, despite the pain? And I know that's challenging because there are some people who have symptoms that are particularly difficult. But I'm going to encourage you to do what you can above and beyond what you've normally done or recently done. And just choose happiness. It's up to you. It's up to you. It's not up to me. It's not up to anybody else to make you happy. Because if you wait for me or somebody else to make you happy, you're going to be waiting a long time. So let me know what you think. Please comment below. If you know somebody who needs this message, please share it. Love you guys for your comments. Love you guys for sharing and the feedback you give me. And so with that, I will talk to you tomorrow.